One day a lady who often came to visit me brought me a book to read, The Life of Venerable Gabriel. I took it almost disdainfully and put it on the pillow. The lady begged me to recommend myself to Gabriel, but I thought little of it. One day I was alone. It was a little afternoon. I was attacked by a strong temptation, and I said within myself that I was tired of all this, and staying in bed annoyed me. The devil took advantage of these thoughts and began to tempt me, saying that if I had listened to him, he would have cured me and would have done all that I asked of him. Dear Father, I was on the point of giving in. I was disturbed and felt that I was conquered. But suddenly a thought came to me. My mind turned to Venerable Gabriel, and I said fervently, "The soul comes first, and then the body." Nevertheless, the devil continued with even stronger assaults. 1,000 ugly thoughts rushed through my mind. Again I turned to Venerable Gabriel, and with his help I conquered. Entering within myself, I made the sign of the cross, and in a quarter of an hour I turned to unite myself with God, whom I so little appreciated. I recalled that on that very evening I began to read the life of Brother Gabriel. I read it several times. I never grew tired of reading it and admiring his virtues and his example. My resolutions were many, my deeds but few. From the day on which my new protector, Venerable Gabriel, saved my soul, I began to practice a special devotion to him. At night I could not sleep unless I had his picture under my pillow, and from that day to this I began to see him near me. Here, dear Father, I do not know how to express myself. I have felt his presence. In every act, in every bad action that I have performed, I thought of Brother Gabriel, and thereupon ceased the action. I have never failed to pray to him every day in these words: "The soul comes before the body." One day the lady who had brought me the life of Venerable Gabriel came to take it back. In taking it from under my pillow and giving it back to her, I could not help weeping. The lady, seeing that it was so hard for me to give it up, promised to come back later and get it when the person who had given it to her requested it. She came back a few days later, and I had to give it back to her, though I did so weeping. This caused me much displeasure, but that saint of God very soon rewarded this little sacrifice, for that night, in a dream, he appeared to me clothed in white. I did not recognize him, dear Father. When he saw that I did not recognize him, he opened the white garment, and I saw him clothed as a Passionist. I knew him immediately. I remained in silence before him. He asked me why I had cried when they took his life from me. I don't recall what I answered, but he said, "See how much your sacrifice has pleased me. It has pleased me so much that I have come myself to see you. Do you wish me well?" I did not answer. Then he comforted me and said to me, "Be good, because I will return to see you." He told me to kiss his habit and rosary, and then he went away. My imagination started working, and I found myself always awaiting another visit from him, but he did not come again for many, many months. Here is how it happened. The Feast of the Immaculate Conception came. At that time, the nuns, Sisters of Charity, were coming to change my clothing and tend to me. Among those who came there was one who was not yet vested in the habit, and who was not vested until 2 years later because she was too young. On the vigil of the feast, the nuns came as usual, and while they were there, I had an inspiration. I thought within myself, "Tomorrow is the feast of our Blessed Mother. If I should promise her that if she would cure me, I would become a Sister of Charity, what would happen?" This thought consoled me. I told it to Sister Leonilda, and she promised that if I were cured, I could be vested with the novice of whom I spoke above. All that remained was that I should make the promise the next morning after Holy Communion. Monsignor came to hear my confession, and he immediately gave his permission. He also gave me another consolation. We made a perpetual vow of virginity together that evening, a vow which previously he had never allowed me to make. He renewed it, and I made it for the first and last time. What tremendous graces, but I have never corresponded with them. That evening I was in perfect peace. Night came, and I went to sleep. All of a sudden I saw my protector standing before me at the foot of my bed. He said to me, "Gemma, make the vow to become a religious gladly, but add nothing else." "But why?" I asked. Touching me on the forehead while he looked at me and smiled, he answered, "My sister." I did not understand what it was all about. To thank him, I kissed his habit. He took the woolen heart, which Passionists wear on their breast, had me kiss it, and then placed it on the sheet over my heart, and again said to me, "My sister." With that, he disappeared. The next morning there was nothing on the sheet. I went to communion and afterwards made my promise, but added nothing else. I did not speak of this either with the nuns or with my confessor. At that time and many times later, the nuns reminded me of my vow because they thought I had promised to become a sister of charity, and they told me that our Blessed Mother could cure me. Jesus graciously accepted my vow, and my poor heart was very glad.